if you were writing music on a desert island and you could only write songs using 3 chord progressions, what would they be?
Probably A, E, and G.
Let's keep it simple.
A, E, because you can get dling, 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 dling. Literally, yeah, 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 yeah. Just can play there.
Wicked. Yeah, that's about as yeah. Because I wasn't sure. The last guy I was talking to had like I think he had a doctorate in music. So super like his music theory knowledge is way beyond like what I can even start to talk about. So he's obviously lent that way with the question. But yeah, man, like it seems like straight up from just listening to you chat, you seem very like open. Maybe more so than a lot of people.
Bro, vulnerability is the window to the soul. Fuck the eyes. The eyes lie. You can close them. So, and you can even paint on the eyelids and to make it look like an eyeball. But you know what? Be open and vulnerable. See who you are. What's the point of masquerading? Who the fuck am I to someone else? Yeah. Just be yourself, you know what? And you're either going to be loved or hated, or you're just going to be respected for being open and honest. It's kind of the thing.
Have you been like that your whole life?
I don't remember. I do remember that I think that there was like I always say there's like a no fucks given ometer, like no fucks-ometer. And like when I was younger, it was really off the scale because I just thought nothing mattered. I still kind of don't, but then you kind of get older and you realize, you know what matters is important and what is important has matter. So it's not so much fuck everything now, it's just fuck selective things now rather than everything because everything's too big to, but yeah, man. I pride myself on being very, I guess, not just real or open, but just if you ask me a question, I can only respond based on the idea I have in my mind. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it because I would like you to understand me. And if we understand each other, we get a big, big harmony, a big symbiosis right in effect.
And so is that something that ever kind of causes difficulties in like, not relationships? I don't just mean like sort of like romantic I just mean like
yes, in every facet of my being, yes, every facet of my life. But I think one thing I've learned, everyone has a response for something. I can say my most honest response and it will be the way I said it. I can say my most honest response, it will be the tone. Everyone has a problem with infliction or whatever. The reality is that we just speak, things get hurt, humans are hurt, we all hurt people, we respond based off hurt, we are defensive, we do all of these things. So people don't like things. So when we just do things, the first natural response is to be completely defensive. And I'm very aware of that, so I'm okay with that. That's why I can't lose my head at someone doing that because it's like, be defensive, be upset with me, but once you kind of like let it go through and you understand it, that'll become more of like a precedent that we'll start to understand why. Rather than just bullshit each other. Yeah,
I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are like myself. I'm sure I do this. I think everyone has that kind of filter that you like. The very first person I spoke to on this podcast was George Lever, who I don't know if you know him, produced like Sleep Token and these kind of bands like Monuments and Thornhill and all these kind of people. And he was saying like, there was a point in your life where you didn't. Basically didn't give a fuck about anything. You didn't have a care in the world. And I was like, I was pretty young when if I could go back to when that was, I don't even think I can remember what was happening in my life at that point. I would have been so young. So it's weird how you just get shaped into like caring about these things. It's clearly not something we're born with,
I think it's the mediums you go into. Like if I didn't do music and I didn't meet so many pretentious cunts or so many people masquerading as something they're not, or trying to be this or trying to be that, or lying or being happy but lying about like so everything. You gauge, okay, this is humanity at its finest. All right, this is not a fucking office. This is just a bunch of human beings expressing sound. So what happens with that? That's the thing. That's the sound. And after that, there's the industry. And then once you get in the industry and you express your sound in the industry, it comes with a whole bunch of new semantics, new ways of thinking. I've got to be like this now. I'm popular. I've never been popular in my life. Now all of a sudden I'm popular. Fuck it, I love this power. And like all of these things become a massive hyperbole of bullshit to so many things. So like I've been through it. I've been the guy that had 50,000 views and thought, yeah, I'm on top of the world. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't give a fuck about all this shit anymore. You kind of got to experience it to know that it don't really matter. And what matters is just music, being who you are, being present in the sound, being everything that you were supposed to be, to make sure people have the same fucking, you know, relation to you, being not scared, making sure vulnerability is a power, their prowess even. And, you know, I'm very big on that. You know, like I said, either love it or you hate it. But the reality is I don't know how to be any less than being the version I wanted to be, rather than having to hide and masquerade behind the bravado, masquerade behind fear and insecurity. I'm as insecure as they come. So why the fuck am I hiding before hiding? Show me yours. Let's get our dicks out, compare the sizes.
I don't think this podcast will last very long. The YouTube won't be so happy.
It's like a vagina, you're right.
I mean, to be fair, it's quite disarming. Because that's the thing. I've got these walls like anyone, you know. So when you say stuff like that, like and I mean this in a good way, you know. It's like I was watching your interview with NME and how you were saying about how you can be quite like, it can come across as sort of antagonizing that, because it's quite disarming. It's making people, if you're so yourself about things, you can actually scare other people who are right in front of you because they're not comfortable with that idea of doing that themselves. Do you come across that a lot? Yes,
and I think one of my close friends, Rephrase, made me very aware. He's like, bro, he goes, you ever think people might be intimidated by you? I'm intimidated. I'm not even like, I don't even want to fight you. But he's like, no, it's not about that. He's like, you're such, like, and he wasn't saying a negative thing, because nothing like, you know, saying truths isn't a negative. Even if you go, oh my God, is that bad? No, it's just someone making an observation. And I'm very aware of that, but I also enjoy people that match that to me. I've been in rooms where people know about me and they just out weird me. Like, oh, I know what he's like, I'm going to be weird. And I'm like, huh? You know, because it's not like, I'm like, what are you doing? But I guess, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's scary. I don't know. It does scare people, but it's not scary and like, oh my God, I'm scared. But more like, I think it makes people think. But I'm all about sparking thought. If you're like around somebody and they're just acting in the present, like, you know, nothing, like there's nothing before or after. I'm not carrying over the angst of my whatever. We're just conversing and it's just normal. If you've come into this place trying to be something, of course you're going to be like, you know, your walls are going to be chipped away at, because you're like, holy fuck, I've just put up a defense and now this guy's hacking away at me.
Yeah, I feel like we need more hacking away at.
Brother, I am here to hack. I'm literally, that is my job here. And I've kind of like started to enjoy it, because it's like, all right, cool. I'm not trying, you know, I always say it's like, there's a difference between being an absolute lunatic but there's methodical madness. Like, I am not a lunatic. A lunatic has no thought. It's just complete sporadic moment, which I enjoy, but there's no method to it. I've gone through being, you know, unguided, a lunatic, doing what I've got to do. And now I enjoy the methodical madness. I enjoy the sparking of thought. I enjoy being in a room and being asked questions, and it just takes away from the linear responses I've got to give, and we can go elsewhere. I start to see that person in front of me becoming more comfortable. Their mannerisms change, the body language changes. We're sitting there masturbating with each other. Do you know what I mean? Like metaphorically.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I can do the metaphorical one. I don't know about the other one. It is like an interesting kind of. It is thinking about what kind of putting up those walls, like, and I have it when I chat to people. Like, I know for a fact when I sit here and talk with people, especially people if I'm a bit intimidated by like how many followers they've got, if they've got like a big career behind them, you know.
Everyone's got more followers than me. I don't give a fuck. There's numbers on the screen. Like, I go outside and I see the real love. I don't give a fuck about those numbers. Half these people with all those numbers are sad in their home, trying to get more people to listen to them. And they go, why is the numbers not working? I don't give a fuck. Like, you have to I appreciate everybody. Like, I got 10,000 Instagram followers and millions of views. Do you think I give a shit?
Yeah, it's a weird. I always find myself looking at numbers, and I feel like, ironically, the less you have of the numbers, the more you know, like when I've met so many people the ones who name drop, for example, I've always noticed are the ones who maybe aren't as far, like, you know, like in terms of numbers, they're not as far along as some other people, and you always hear them name dropping, and you always hear like, oh, I was with this person, or I wrote this song that did this well, you know. And then like whenever I've met people who have been quite like successful by like, you know, sort of today's standards, they've always been super humble. So like it's definitely coming from a place of insecurity, I think.
My millionaire friends with Grammys are the most humble people in the world. How can I be any less? I don't even have that. I don't even have half the time £100 to spare. So I don't like. I know my place in the fucking chart. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that for me, that's like, cool. I'm here. I can't wait to do better. I can't wait to, no matter what my network of people is, no matter, like, bro, I fucking know. Even the people that are supposedly bigger than me, I know they fucking would like to have some of the shit I have. But you know what? It came through being this, just being the person. I didn't have to get my manager to do something or the PR put us in the rooms together. Dude, I just made the music and I wanted to be part of the mix-up. I wanted to be part of the genetic makeup of music that makes this shit turn, that makes people think, put myself on the podium, the pedestals, to be able to have people give a fuck about what I'm saying. Because reality is, I'm an artist and we have to have people give a fuck about us more than like most people. So I'm very aware of that. Like, why does anybody want to give a fuck about me? Why like everyone's like, okay, I need to like, and they don't even respond to messages. Bro, you see all your messages. You don't have 1 million followers. You saw that. Why are you, everything is so dystopian. It's so weird. And I guess that's why I kind of like enjoy being the antithesis of this shit sometimes. I don't give myself the name. I kind of read the comments and attach them to me. But, you know, and I enjoy that. If that's the antagonizing part of this, then fuck yeah, I'll wear that with pride, because it's like, you know, I love disrupting, but not for no reason. But when there is like a circus going on and it's built on bad semantics, it's just the foundations are soggy. It's full of bitter people. It's full of this and that. And I enjoy coming with a fresh coat of paint and just throwing it everywhere and not knowing where the colors land, and you just get a beautiful picture. So, you know, I'm really big on that shit, man. And like I said, it might be unnerving. It might be something. It might even be misconstrued sometimes. But it's all for, you know, if I'm here in this place and I've got one chance of living, I'm going to do all I can to squeeze the infinite amount of attempts I have whilst I'm still here. And, you know, first and foremost, I love music. It is not a game to me. It is something that I'm here doing. I'm able to be on fucking interviews with you because it's what I love. So anyone that comes through, I don't give a fuck what your platform is. I don't care if you've never had an interview before. You know, let's build from the ground up, because that's where the authenticity will lie. Not someone that's already got it all and just gets to have it. And then, you know, let's build. And that's my thing. You know, I come from nothing, still do, kind of. So, you know, that really helps shape the mentality. I don't know if it's humility. I don't know if it's just being used to not having much. But when you create, when you don't have much, you don't expect anything. So when you do get stuff, it's so important to recognize, learn, understand why you have it, who you are, and what you can do with who you are and what you have. And this is why I'm here, I guess.
Do you ever feel like, obviously, if you know, in the way in being so kind of out there with your own kind of ways of being, you know, and being so honest about it, does it ever get like lonely? Or do you ever get like kind of misunderstood in that regard?
Pretty much since I can remember. But you don't find the loneliness so much as a negative, because you learn to find the solace in your comfort of your own. And, you know, it's not about, just because this person didn't vibe with me, they're not real or they don't get it. It's just that, you know, you attract your tribe, and what you put out there is what you get back. And you build your garden, you eradicate the weeds, you water the sunflowers, and you plant the roses. All I'm trying to do is have a very blossoming garden. And it comes from not going to the best seller. It just comes from planting your own seeds. And everything's very homegrown. Everything's very organic. Everything I've ever done is from a very organic place. And I think if I can take that precedent and run it with it as far as I can, you know, hopefully it inspires many more people to not feel like you have to put on the biggest hats and the biggest coloriest feather to be seen. You can just be yourself. You don't have to be crazy and then go home crying about what you've done that night because you tried to impress a bunch of people that won't even really care about you if you died.
Yes, it's I like the whole thing about sort of watering your own garden. It's quite like it's you hear that sort of metaphor used, but maybe not in the same context. Do you feel like you're sort of in your whole journey of doing your own thing, and whether it be with music or just you as a person, do you feel like do you still have sort of, I guess, there are a lot of people, like I said, that have these walls up that aren't able to engage in a way they want to. Do you feel like you've got there? And I don't mean that in like a sort of you've just got success in being yourself, but like, do you feel like you still have moments where those walls go up, or like where you think, hang on, I'm not being true to what I want to do right now?
Buddy, one moment recently where I guess recently I think it's very normal to want to exercise the things you've done and wear them with pride, but it's also, like I said, very normal to expect that not everyone gives a fuck about them. And I think, sometimes when you're in these places and music and you've done all the things you do, you don't have the resources that many others always have, but you're in the same rooms and places. You kind of want to feel like that, right? And I guess recently I kind of lapsed in that, and I kind of felt like, man, I should be here, I should be there. And it was like a weak thing. And I was just like, I think something happened, and I just had to step out, like, bruv, calm the fuck down, you little cunt. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, and I think that was a big little lesson. It wasn't even nothing major. It was just like a personal lapse. But again, it was kind of like, that was because I started to feel things due to the comparison of things that won't matter. And yeah, so, but ultimately, when going away from that again and then getting back into that place where, yeah, this is who I always want to be. I don't know how to be any less. I don't know how to feel like I need to exercise bitter natures, or, I've been all the things I don't want to be. So like, I don't want to be them. So like, I just try to be, I don't even want to try to be like the best person, because that's a facade. Like, I think you need to have balance. You need to know where your evil will lie and where your good will reign. And I don't mean being bad, like going out and killing, but mean in the sense of that not everything is a place. I always say it's better to be kind than it is to be nice, because walking into a place and being nice is, hello, do you want a cup of tea? Yes, yes. And just being nice. Like that person, I don't know, they're like protocol. But being kind, they might not be nice straight away or kind straight away. It takes the time to warm, and you get to see the kindness of that nature. And I'm very big on that. I'm very like, let's learn who we have to be. Like, first and foremost, let the foundation of our natures be kindness, built upon that. But, it's just not just throw ourselves at each other. Like, do you want this? You want that? Because then, you exhaust yourself, and then you realize, I don't even want to be doing this. And that's when you realize that's not real. So you got to be kind. You got to know, you got to be kind. You just got to be good. You got to be, it's got to be everything you don't want to be. And if you are doing things that are bad, and and they're having a negative effect on you, then kind of like look in the mirror and reflect, because you gotta reflect. Reflection is huge, and I don't mean just looking at yourself and finding the crevices in your skin, but who are you beneath the skin bag, the little body bag of flesh that's withering as we speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
think a lot of people are afraid of taking that step, or they say they want to, but actually deep down, well, they do deep down want to, but there's the superficial, I want to do this, then there's that bit that gets in the way where you stop and you go like, that makes me uncomfortable. But deep down, a lot of people do want to act in that way. And like something that pointed out, it sounds quite sort of unrelated, but I think it kind of relates, in that I saw recently someone went round with just like a clipboard pretending to be doing surveys and stuff, and he went up to people when the whole Ukrainian refugee thing was going on, where they were talking, where you could sign up to take someone on board, and this guy was going around saying like, should I can't remember, he said something along the lines of, should we be taking in refugees? And everyone's going, yeah, of course, yeah. And then he said, oh, would you like sign up then? And then they went, oh no, I can't. I haven't got room in my house. And then
I think I saw that one.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's kind of like, so it's a different kind of situation, but it's that people say they want to do something, but then when it comes down to you, it's now on you to do it. Like, because we all want, we all obviously want people to be well and that, but it's like, oh, we're now going to inconvenience you by if you really want to help these people, you're going to have to go through some hardship, and immediately they're like, no, not willing to do that. And deep down, they probably do want to help those people, but they're not willing to engage in the hardship. It's like I said, it's a bit of a, whether it's that
what the thing has done is sparked the thought of, oh my God, like I want to be good, but I don't think I can. And it's like you start thinking about stuff, and that's a great exercise, because like again, it comes back down to the thesis of they want it to be nice, but like they just want it to be nice, and that is what most people want to be. And I'm not saying don't stop being nice. No, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to listen to him, and then when someone comes, I'm going to fuck you. No, I guess the person at the hotel lobby has to be nice for protocol. You know what I'm saying? But that person can still go home and they could have fucking bodies in the freezer. Who fucking knows? But, and I guess that, that exercise there shows like the foundation of what I kind of was meant, like, yes, do I want to take in some refugees in my home? Well, yeah, I do. Can I? Probably one, but not for too long. Maybe like 3 weeks and you got to find your feet. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I'd fucking tell them. That's fucking kind. Do you know what I'm saying? Like maybe even not 3, because after the second week, I'm like, dude, I want to play FIFA to like the early hours of the morning and you're not sleeping. Like, and I get where you come from, war-torn countries, etc. I can only empathize so much and I have extreme sympathy. But if I just allow you to spend 4 to 8 weeks in my house just eating, sleeping and not making any movements, then how am I helping you? So take 2 to 3 weeks. And if I can do that, but you know what? I don't have a lot of money. So you may have to fend for yourself sometimes. Can you help look after my dog?
You got to bring something to the table.
Yeah, you just brought yourself. I'm a burden. Now we've got 2 burdens in the house. Unfortunately, that's just the world.
Yeah. I think like you said, it's tricky to find people that are willing to sort of engage in that way. Do you find like in your day to day, do you encounter many people that you feel like, yeah, they're just doing them? Yes.
And I keep a lot of them close.
Yeah.
Because, do you mean in the sense of like they're just doing them like
what they want to do?
Yeah, what as in like just they're not worrying about the status quo and who they have to appease. That's pretty much what I try to keep myself around, because I need I think it's very important to first and foremost the company you keep is a massive part of what you are. Birds of a feather do flock together. So if my wings are not flapping, and I need to understand why. So, yeah, man, it's very important it's just important. Like I said, no, there's no rule book. I'm not right. I just have a blueprint. And if you want to follow my blueprint, then engage, because it's not the best, but you know what? It help your mental health a little bit, because you just got to care about what's important. You just don't, it's like armor, isn't it? Vulnerability is the armor. And once you kind of wear that, you don't really get, the arrows don't hurt so much when you get hit with them.
Yeah, it's weird to look at it that way around, that actually the thing that really will shield you is actually just being vulnerable, which is kind of like, there's a sense of irony in that, which is kind of cool.
Irony, and that's why I said that I feel like from young we're taught to engage in the masquerade, put on the brave face and the smiles. Yeah, she's just smart. No, man, lash out. It's a human emotion. Like it's not meant to be kept in. It's just society and protocol that stops us kind of like being the human beings we got to be. We always have to do this and that, or we're afraid of being stigmatized because we kind of had a bad day in the fucking, or a bad month. It's all right. You don't know when it's going to happen. You don't know how long it's going to be. And I think, just like I said, I've got to help people. I think not a lot of people help. It's just saying stuff, and I can't help everybody. I used to want to save the world. Then I started to change the phrasing to, I want to change corners of the world. And by doing that, you go there and you just put your ethos out, whether it be on stage, music, whatever. And then if you get people adopting your ethos and the way you live, you're changing your corner. You're bringing people into your world whilst changing corners of it everywhere you step. And that's better than going, I'm going to change the world.
Yeah, I think it all starts with yourself, doesn't it? I mean, another question I was going to ask was, do you think, in terms of why we all act like this, do you think you can blame, and I don't like the word blame so much, but the individual who is sort of following this facade, or is it down to sort of, things like media
Well, it is a blame, but it also sometimes isn't people's fault. So the blame isn't necessarily on them. They're just living vicarious through a medium of thought that they, you know what I mean, that they have to adopt, whether it be, this is the trend of the moment, this is the character of the year. So, you know what I mean? And most people like conglomerate things. We all like to be together with a mass collective way of thinking. If sometimes some person opposes that mass thought, they're labeled as the outcast, the black sheep, whatever. And you know, yeah, there is some parties to blame, but you have to answer why. Like, first and foremost, why? Why is there a blame, and who's doing this? And what is it? Is it a fucking you know? What's the word? Is it what's it when it's is it conscious? Is it a conscious thing they're doing, or is it just like a repercussion of the effect? So yeah, and I think once you start breaking those kind of ideas down, like I said, I don't know much. I don't know. The more things I do believe I know, the less I start to understand I do. So you just kind of like, cool, this is the matrix that I'm in, and these are the codes that are dropping down the page. I'm just going to take little parts and change them around and live in my way. And, you know, this is my playground until I die. I can't really be sad at the way the world is. All right, cool, there's credit, there's fucking living, there's a house. I have to do all of these things that the way the world makes me have to do to thrive in it. But okay, once I do those things, that doesn't mean I have to fall into this part of it. Let me play here. And then once you play here, you start to see the cracks in that foundation over there and go, okay, no, it's a mess. I just smacked my own balls. I'm out of breath. Jesus Christ. And
out of breath because you smacked your own balls, or the other way around?
I'm out of breath. Yes. Yes. Just hurt myself. I just hit a nut. So yeah, man. It's an insane thing. But like I said, you got one chance whilst you're here. Do whatever you want to do. Just don't rape, kill, murder, steal from ASDA if you want. I don't give a fuck about that. Don't steal from the independent business. But you know what I mean? I'm all for you going in there and taking tissue roll and food. So go fucking do it.
It's kind of sad that we live in a place where, you know, like, I mean, even you don't even have to go that far back. Or you can go far back enough, sorry, but that like when there were the riots in London and people got caught stealing bags of rice, and you're like, well, if you need to steal bags of rice, obviously something's gone really wrong in society, that we've got people, you know, you get people stealing like PlayStations and whatever, but even then you're like, well, why is that person stealing that? There's something not right in their life. Therefore, they need to steal something like that, you know. I'm
a massive silver lining type of dude as well. Like, I'm all like, I don't just judge based off the initial phrasing, and I think that's what the world does. But like I said, you know, stealing bags of rice. Like, if there's a massive riot and you ban it, whatever, and you're stealing bags of rice, not just clothes, like, you know what I mean, dude? Like, come on. And like I said, but because of the word stealing, it has so much negative connotation. You stop at, you don't even get to rice. You just go stealing. You know what I'm saying? So and the rice has no business. It's stolen rice. This is bad rice. Where did you get this? I can't eat this rice. Take it back.
You sound like you remind me of Russell Brand a little bit. I don't know if you.
I used to get that. When I was younger. But I don't get that anymore. That's funny. Russell Brand is not really a muse for me as current times, but I do enjoy his stand-ups. He's a good person. I really like Russell. He's not like a figure I've sat down and like checked his mannerisms, adopted them, tried to this is gonna like, it's just kind of like maybe just like two peas in a pod that was never in the same one. You know what I mean? We just fuck knows.
Yeah. It's, I'm guessing you don't because you know there's a lot of people around nowadays who have this kind of like nihilistic belief of, oh well, none of it matters because I'm not, you know, I'll be dead in 100 years or whatever.
I'm there. I'm a nihilist, but I'm a nihilist with empathy, and I'm going to be dead in 100 years, so it doesn't matter per se, but it matters what I do for the others around me, because all I really care about is making sure, you know, I'm here now. I used to think I had purpose and this is my dream. But you have a purpose. If you fall, like, purpose is something you fall into and you just adopt, and you've got to care. Like, once you reach that ultimate level of care, you know, it's part of you. It's ingrained in the facets of the layers of who you are. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so, you know, I don't know, man. It's weird. Like, I do music. I'm signed to a fucking label, all of these things, but ultimately I just do music. I don't really know anything else about, You know, I do music and then you have an effect on people's brains. And I've realized who I attract. There was a good solid few years where all I got was suicidal, manic depressives. Not a negative, but it was like, what am I doing? That these are the people I literally speak to day into day. I have so many numbers in my phone book of people that are dead, literally dead, and like killed themselves, or they're in the asylums or the mental hospitals, and their nurses are allowing them to play my music. They're not allowed to have headphone cords at night, but they're allowed to play my thing because, you know, and I'm like, all right, cool, man. You know, I'm like, fuck, who do I speak to? Like, what am I saying? And like, I guess, you know, I do like that. I do enjoy the unhinged parts of life, the parts of the brains what snap and the synapses start creating new things. And, you know, like, fuck, man, like, it's just, I don't know, it's gonna be dead in 100, but these are the people I'll speak to. If I can help them, then it matters. It does matter. You've made me see matter when I thought nothing did matter. You know, I can do this. I have no repercussion. I don't care about repercussion. I know that I shouldn't be doing this, that, and the other, but these ones I will never touch. But do I give a fuck about that? Fuck no. So I was like, you know, but these people, a lot of things have allowed me to shape and reshape. I'm very happy to change my mind. I don't just die on the hill I climbed on. I'll actually get back down off that hill if you allow me to and give me a ladder. Because, you know, what the fuck I want to die on the hill for? Like, unless it's a real hill I got to die on, then fuck it, I'm standing on that shit. But I'm also happy to come off the hill and change things. And, you know, like I said, I enjoy this. I find peace with the cynics. You get good conversations. It's not laid in a multitude of happiness and weird fucking serotonin just bursting out your head. You know what I mean? I don't know. But yeah, man. I think whatever the question was, I don't know if I answered it, but I've just said some shit.
You've answered that and a few more, I think, to be fair. So like, I'm happy. You sound kind of quite like almost sort of frustrated with the way you kind of. I mean, again, I don't mean this in a negative way.
It's okay. It's genuinely okay. I don't want you to even feel like it's okay to not just be like, it's okay. This is why I'm happy we get to speak, because it's like, even if it does come across as a negative, who fucking cares? It's literally a conversation. You've never seen me or never spoken to me prior today. Get it all out. Say it out loud. It's okay. We can cross any bridge.
Okay, so you sound frustrated, be it negative or not, with how, like, I think it's the tone, your sort of tone of voice and the way you express things. It sounds like it comes from a deep kind of frustration with, I guess, if I'm right, what do you think that frustration is? Is it just that kind of like a sadness that other people aren't being?
I think it's a loathing. It's a loathing of the human race. And because I am part of the timeline and the chronology of this Earth's fucking spin, I don't know anything. I'm just bored. Like I said, I stand by, I am literally a living orgasm. I just nutted into a chamber and cooked up for 9 months. Like, I don't know, like, I didn't even know, I could have been hate fucking for all I fucking know. Like, I'm just here. So, like, you know, you go to school, everyone's nice. Oh, you're a baby, you're so good and nice. Everything's nice. You grow up and you kind of expect, oh, my birthday, everyone was so good to me on my birthday. And then you hit the 22nd birthday and just suddenly, like, no one really cares. And then every year so onwards, no one really cares anymore. And then, so you start to kind of understand, all right, cool. All right, like, you're raised to be crushed. Like you said, you're just given, and I'm not saying that we're just supposed to, like, kids are born and we just be horrible to them, but you're just literally raised to be crushed. You hit an age and you're no longer, fuck this guy. He's 18, he's disgusting now. He's masturbating and he watches porn. So, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't, like, you just hit an age where you're like, bro, this doesn't actually matter. I'm just like a bacterium. I'm a smarter rat who dresses himself and uses hot water to clean daily. So you just, like I said, I don't know, bro. I don't fucking know. There's no right or wrong thing to say. I just say things and people gravitate to what they fucking believe or don't. And I'm frustrated. Like I said, my frustration, yeah, you're fucking right. My frustration is just so much of the masquerade. And it's not just direct people, it's the fucking world. It's like, put me in a room with no cameras with these people that I got to speak to people every day and you'll see them say, fuck them people. I'm like, so why? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the masquerade to me. And like, you know, I don't know what the revolution has to be, but I don't know anything. Like, I don't know things. The world's just a big churning machine of media, things, rhetorics, lies, truths, death, living, murder, rape, pillaging, fucking disease, defects, kids born with cancer, old men living to 1 million when they've raped their whole fucking life. Like, what is the thing? Like, where is the balance? There's no balance. So what's the center focus? It's none of it. Just societies and good things, and but you take it out of the media and go to something like this. I don't know, bro. Just a caveman with a bone looking to club someone to death. What the fuck do I know?
I like the sort of humility and just saying you have all these things that you think, but like ultimately it's just like, well, what do I know? Like, because I think you've got to look at it that way, haven't you? Because like, someone that always makes me laugh is Bill Burr, and he made some joke about like religion or something. I don't know what it was that he made a joke about, and everyone clapped and applauded, and he was like, "Don't applaud, I don't read." like it's like, don't follow me. I don't, this is what I think. You don't have to listen, which I think is a good way to do it. But I think too many people are ready to latch on because they need something to latch on to, So you almost feel this responsibility to, say certain things because people want to have something to latch onto in that way, It's a weird kind of, it's a weird dynamic, but I've been interrupted because there's a stray cat that we found outside. And
my fucking dog's just chilling. Look.
we found a stray cat outside, and he just kept turning up, and the so have you heard that? Just kept turning up outside the front door, and we were like, should we look after him? And then so doing a bit of kindness in the world.
That's what we need, man. I'm all for that shit. I love that shit. Fucking taking all the cats you can.
I mean, there's a lot around it.
I found a bag of dead kittens before, and that's when I realized, yeah, man, we gotta save these fucking cats.
Yeah, they need help. Yeah. No, he was so funny. He just kept turning up outside the door, and we're like, is that someone's cat? That can't be someone's cat. There's no way. Yeah, sorry, my train of thought just.
My friend has literally just got the cat the same way. She kept coming to his house, put some food out, and all of a sudden, Circuit is his best friend.
It's crazy. I mean, so with your kind of, when it comes to music, is it that, do you think you're drawn to music? I'm trying to think which way round it is. Do you feel like you're drawn to music because of this need to sort of behave the way you do? I mean, like to kind of try and be honest about things. Or do you think it was through doing music you kind of found that behavior?
I think performing allowed me to find my behavior, because I realized when you step on a stage to people, 10 or 1,000, they're just looking back at you, waiting for you to do something. And I was like, oh, what can I do here? And I found a lot of my eclecticism in just saying wild sentiments to a bunch of strangers and seeing how they respond, to body mannerisms, to sentences that mean a lot to me, and I deliver them with extreme passion. Like, I found a lot of like being myself on a stage, a lot of it in uncomfortable situations. I found being myself best when I went into crowds of people I don't know and spoke my mind and changed their opinions on things, even if they didn't speak them. I found that that gave me a sense of resilience. It gave me a sense of self, not breaking just to appease. I'm a very, I feel like I have good laurels and morals, but it doesn't mean I agree with everything that everyone does. It doesn't mean I agree with certain semantics of the planet or the left and the rights. I don't even like, all of these words and things. Like I said, I just don't like things. I don't give a fuck what they attach to in the spectrum of lefts and rights. Like, I don't, like, again, I'm going to go, I don't know. Like, how can I, like, if you put me in a suit and do my hair and put me on Sky News and I speak the same way, people say he knows something. I don't know anything. I just know enough to put these words together and know that I believe what I say. Fuck you.
Me?
Not you.
I know. Do you feel like a sense of responsibility to spread that kind of the way, or is it just naturally what comes? I can see your dog saying that. Do you feel like a responsibility to behave in that kind of way and to spread that? It's sort of, you're talking about changing minds in front of people and stuff, and putting yourself across, your honest self, and I guess you say about things like antagonizing and changing minds. Do you feel that like a bit of a sense of duty to kind of encourage people to behave the same way, or is it very much just like a byproduct of you being you?
I wouldn't say I feel a responsibility, because no one has given me one to do, but I do think that it's important to express the innate desires of your deeper being and make people think. It's important to practice thought. Even if you're thinking already, it's very important to have people incept a new thought into your head, to just think more. And I think people are very happy to just think what they think and don't really challenge more of the thought. You just think, I think this, and I think this. You're giving me new information. I just don't want to think anymore, and you're making me think more. No, I don't want to do that. So, it's not a responsibility, but it's something I enjoy doing. And if you don't want to, I don't actually give a fuck, because you don't actually impact me unless you're coming to my home and like pissing through my letterbox daily. You're causing me a problem. But if you're not, I don't give a fuck what you're doing. And that's not the precipice of just like, that's the one thing I don't want you to do. But like, just pissing through my door. But
you have no lines. That's just that.
Right, you keep pissing through my door. Like,
if you keep pissing through the door, I'm gonna stop letting your shit all over the floor.
Yeah, if you do, I'm not gonna fucking suck you off tonight, right? So like, just it's a wild ride, this living thing. I'm just here. I get to do interviews. I did music, started doing it. I got a little bit bigger. Then you get a little bit more bigger, and then you say, you know what? I'm not gonna buy any followers and views, and I'm just gonna keep throwing up into cups on my Instagram and seeing who can beat me in the fastest throw up cup, and just do things I enjoy.
Those aren't sentences that go together very often. But yeah, I mean, so
they came together.
That's good. Oh, it's a good thing. It's original, It's what we're all trying.
You vomiting cups and seeing how fast you can do it compared to your friend. Come to my house on Christmas.
Why Christmas?
There'll be more people to engage with.
That's your reason. That's good to read.
It'll be family as well, so we'll be like, oh look, mum's throwing up in the cup again.
Yeah, I mean, we have different. I think we have different Christmases, but mine's just pissing through letterboxes. That's all it is.
Mine's us using my foreskin as the bacon wrap and then cooking it on my own wood.
I'm gonna have to put some warnings on this one, Jesus. But I mean, so there's one more thing I wanted to just ask, like, rather than steal all your time, if that counts as stealing, I don't know. Choose to define.
You're a bad person.
Is what would be maybe your, like, sort of, if you had to give one piece of advice to people, just say you were to meet a random person, any one of the few billion people on Earth, and you didn't know anything about them, you just had to give some advice, whatever it was, and just hope that they kind of, assuming they understand your language or whatever, what would that piece of advice be?
I just walk. They haven't asked me a question. I'm just walking over. Hey, let me give you some advice.
You have to give them. You have to give them some advice.
I would say stop being scared of who you are. You can be scared of the things like the dark and anything that you don't understand what's in the corner. But do not be scared of who you are, because that is one of your biggest superpowers, is understanding the very innate desire and facet of your being to express. Because once you do that, you find the domino effect of other people doing that becomes a catharsis for themselves and you. And then all of a sudden, we've got a mass conglomerate of people doing the overt, fucking up the status quo. And I don't just mean by bleaching your hair and being a maverick. I mean by fucking literally practicing thought daily, changing who you are, not being restricted to the things that you think you know, but also understanding what others know as well. You're not the best. You will never be the best. Perfect doesn't exist. And you're going to die. And if you can do all of this before you die, you might die tomorrow. You might already be dead. And this is a message from the past. But Just do things. Stop being scared, you bunch of fucking freaks.
It's a good way. That's a good way to wrap it up. I think that's a good place to. Yeah, we're all just a bunch of freaks. I like Tim Minchin says we're all just fucking monkeys in shoes. And
hence why I said we're just rats that can dress ourselves.
Yeah, well, that's what made me think of that earlier. It just made me laugh. So yeah, man. I mean, so I need a question to start the next podcast with, and I was going to say actually that I won't tell you who it is, but looking at my calendar, I don't actually know who I'm speaking to next. To be fair, so it's got to be pretty. Well, it's whatever you want it to be. It can be as nice or thought provoking, or not nice, but kind.
Okay, this is my question. If you were to create dick molds of all your best friends so that they can be put on the wall as coat hangers, so when they come round to your house, they have an individual coat hanger of a mold of their dick.
Right.
What friends would you start with first, and why?
Oh God, I hope this person has an open mind.
Challenge people, my friend.
I like how of all the ways you could challenge people, you're challenging me more than anyone with this.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to watch the next interview.
I mean, thank you so much.
Wicked,
so also I need an artist that you want to promote to the world. Some love.
Z Kizzy. He is in a band called Escape the Box. It's one of the best artists that I know. Not just because I know him, he's the best. If I didn't know him and I heard his shit, I'd be like, bro, this guy needs to be put on a pedestal. He features in a lot of my songs, but alone, he's a phenomenal artist. And check out his band, Escape the Box. Check out Rephrase. Check out Ola Bliss. Check out Nova Twins. Check out Vended. Check out everybody that cares about what they're doing. And don't just limit yourself to one person to check out, ever.
Yeah, wicked. Is there anything, do you want one last message to the world or anything you want to promote of your own?
When I am dead, I want you to bury the MP3s I have so no one knows I did music.
That's an so no one knows you ever did any music?
Bury every piece of information and evidence that I existed. Don't give me a headstone. Just give me a casket. Don't worry about keeping it clean. I said this in Kerrang the other day. I want you to piss on my casket. I want you to ash on my casket. I want you to wear colourful clothes. I want you to fucking vomit on it because I'm finished now. My physical being is dead. No more. Bring me the most taboo, blasphemic shit you can do because there's no reason. My mortal realm is over. Don't worry about keeping a thing that's going to be covered in dirt clean anymore because it's all right. Just fucking have it.